It's the Austro-Libertarian alphabet. Q is for quantity theory of money. Many people, especially on the left, assume all free market thinkers agree on everything, lumping Austrians in with Chicago school or classical liberals as if we're all cut from the same cloth. But while we often oppose the same state interventions, we don't share the same methods or foundational views. Milton Friedman, a towering figure of the Chicago school, strongly defended ideas like quantity theory. So while I respect Friedman's defense of liberty, we don't just quibble over policy tweaks, we challenge the very methods he used. The Chicago school treats money and prices with equations as if they were physical quantities, predictable and uniform. This is something they share with Keynesians, but Austrians reject that kind of mathematical economics and treat economics as the study of individual action in time-bound uncertainty. We don't accept the idea you can plug M or V into a formula and explain real-world inflation. We also reject utility maximization models since utility is ordinal, not cardinal. The Austrian actually has completely different views from the Chicago economist. The quantity theory of money is a perfect example. The quantity theory of money is often summarized with the formula MV equals PQ. Money supply, M, times velocity, V, equals price level, P, times real output, Q. It presents a neat arithmetic model. If you increase M, prices must rise unless Q increases. But Austrians have long shown this to be both conceptually shallow and practically misleading. Ludwig von Mises in 1912 granted that there was a core of truth to the theory, namely that an increase in the money supply tends to rise prices, but he critiqued it for ignoring the demand for money. The theory fails to explain the mechanism of variation in the value of money, he wrote. In other words, it looks only at supply, not at why people choose to hold or spend money. Austrians focus on subjective value, meaning the value people place on holding money itself, which changes with uncertainty, expectations, and preferences. Friedrich Hayek in The Decentralization of Money, 1976, called the quantity theory a useful rough approximation, but warned it becomes wholly useless when multiple kinds of money circulate simultaneously. That's because the theory assumes a closed system with one kind of money, ignoring competition between currencies, shifting preferences, and the complex signals of real-world exchange. Each term in the formula is flawed. V, velocity, is not a constant but a behavioral variable. How often money changes hands depends on confidence, banking practices, and institutional factors. Output, Q, is not homogeneous but a complex structure of heterogeneous capital. Prices, P, never rise uniformly. New money enters through specific channels, creating Cantillon effects and malinvestment. And the impact of money itself, M, depends not just on quantity, but on timing, recipients, and how it distorts entrepreneurial calculation. Keynesians treat MV equals PQ like a lever for managing aggregate demand, but that's quackery. Real economics is about individual choice, uncertainty, and dynamic adjustment over time. You can't predict outcomes by pushing on a money supply dial. Yes, quantity matters, but quantity theory oversimplifies what must be understood through real human action, not macro formulas. It's not just about how much money exists, but about who gets it first, what signals it sends, and how it changes the structure of production. This is why Austrians reject treating economics like physics. Money doesn't flow through the economy like water through pipes. It moves through people's minds, through plans, through uncertain futures, and no algebra can capture that.